Well, hello again. Okay, we know that we're all evolving here. We know changes are coming. What are you guys, and is there other ones coming in, the non-physical, that is really going to help us now?
Well, who's helping who here? In other words, if you are the ones exploring contrast and you're the ones giving birth to new desire, and we are coming to revel in the desire that you've created, who's got the main event going on?
Well, of course, we do on the planet, the third dimension, but when you say we, who is we?
When we say we mean the non-physical parts of you that are all focused forward into your time-space reality. You see, your question has a flawed premise that we've been working on in these hours that we've been together today, and that is that as of course you came forth from source,
right?
But as you've been here in this physical body, you have expanded to more, which source has become. But this is the piece that most people aren't quite getting yet. Source is flowing to you right out here on this leading edge. In other words, there is never a moment in time that the source or your inner being or Abraham or God or whatever you're wanting to call this non-physical energy, there's never a moment in time that we are not fully present right here in this leading edge conversation with you. And there could not be more help than that, because not only are we helping, we're being all that you have become. And in that beingness, you have the emotional awareness of whether you're allowing that help, that power, that clarity, that abundance, that wellness, that beingness, or whether you're pinching some of it off to some degree. In other words, we really can't offer more words to help you to figure out that we are all in this together. But you can feel when you're allowing it, and you can feel when you're not. That's been our message all along. And so you say, well, we're not getting it yet, Abraham. Is more help a-coming? And we say, endlessly, because you keep summoning it. But the best question really isn't, is more help coming? The better question is, when will I be able to allow the help that has come? And we say, you'll be able to allow the help that has come when you start caring about how you feel and making sure that you feel good more of the time.
Oh, that's so easier said than done.
Takes a lot of practice.
Well, as we know, we all go through changes. And of course,
say that as if it's a bad thing.
It's a growing thing.
You say that as if it's a bad thing.
How would you say it?
We wouldn't.
We all go through becoming more aware of source.
You're not going through anything. You say going through it as if it's an obstacle course.
Sometimes it feels like it.
Your perspective, not ours.
Right.
We see it as joyous adventure, where you get to explore in an intimate fashion all kinds of details that inspire you to new wanting. And we see it when that new wanting is born, that is a manifestation that is thrilling beyond thrilling. The other night, Esther was having a conversation with her daughter Tracy. And Tracy was talking about how a friend had sent her a link to a house that's in the neighborhood close to where her children are in school. They're in a Montessori school in San Antonio. And so Tracy got online and looked at the house, and she said, "Oh, Mom, it was just fabulous." And she began describing how many rooms and what they looked like and how they were configured and how fun it would be to live in the house and what the yard was like and that it was in a cul-de-sac and the proximity to the school and its proximity to other things. And as Tracy ranted about this house, Esther just sat there in pure bliss at the powerful, positive emotion that Tracy was clearly feeling and expressing verbally. And Esther was thinking, this is just the best feeling in the world, to hear and feel this girl that I love so much feeling so high about this thing. It was just like delicious. And then Tracy said, but we can't really afford this house. And Esther is thinking, if not now, later, because Esther knows that things always work out for Tracy, and that whether it is now or next year or 10 years from now. But suddenly, this clarity happened to Esther where it was irrelevant whether they moved into the house or not. What was relevant was the exhilaration that Tracy was feeling about the house. In other words, for the first time, Esther really got it, that was the manifestation. And Esther was just so focused upon how thrilling it was that the circumstances had unfolded to give Tracy this opportunity to have this moment in time that was, Tracy talked about how high she was for hours that day as she was fantasizing and thinking about this house. And Esther said to Tracy, Tracy, for the first time ever, I'm getting it, that the emotion that you're feeling is the manifestation, that's what all of this is giving us, that if we can just find things that make us feel this way, and we can just feel it and revel in the feeling and accept that it all existed for this moment in time at the feeling, because move-in day never feels like that. Move-in day never feels even close to that. Going to the closing doesn't feel like that. Writing the check doesn't feel like that. In other words, there's so much about the process of that doesn't feel like that. This is what it is about. As Esther felt that with Tracy, she felt this clarity come over her that the manifestation that you have all called the manifestation, when the healing occurs or when the house is purchased or when the lover comes, this stuff that you all think is the manifestation isn't the manifestation at all. It's that moment and that moment and that moment and that moment and that moment. So when you get that, when you get it into perspective, that everything is unfolding in order to give you this joyful manifestation and this joyful manifestation and this joyful manifestation, in time, you'll just move from good feeling moment to good feeling moment to good feeling moment to good feeling moment. And of course, it will all fill in and flesh out with all kinds of wonderful justification and ramification and fortification and manifestation. It will become more and more and more. But the main event is that emotion that you feel. That is the main event. And when you get that, everything is simple, because it is simple.
Can you give us any example of a person that feels that way a lot? The good feeling moments, the good feeling moments, the good feeling moments?
Well, we gave you an example of someone who felt that way for a little bit, Tracy, and then she felt discouragement. And then she talked to her husband, who was in agreement with her that the house is perfect, but just not right now. And then she felt the dip in her emotion, remembered how good the other had felt, and went into an immediate mode of appreciating the house that they're currently in. So she had a little bit of a roller coaster, but ended up in that high-flying, good-feeling place. And then she said, Mom, a week later, you're not going to believe what happened. My friend called and said, Maroon 5 is on Ellen. Well, Maroon 5 is a band that Tracy adores and chases around the country from time to time. Her children know every song, because it plays through the house all the time. And so Tracy, who couldn't watch the program because she was picking her children up at the time, taped it on the DVR, and then came home later that day to watch it. And while she was watching it, someone called, and she put it on pause. And when she came back to look at it, there was a note on the bottom of the screen that said, "Win your dream home." Call this number if you're interested. So Tracy called the number and said, "How many tickets are you selling?" They said 8,000. Pretty good odds. Tracy says, "How much are the tickets?" $100. The proceeds go to St. Jude's Hospital. So Tracy bought a fistful of tickets and rode the emotion longer still. And Esther said, the drawing's on November 3rd. Esther said, "Tracy, you're totally going to win that house. But whether you do or not, aren't you having a really fun ride?" In other words, wasn't that yet another manifestation Because if Tracy had not received that phone call, she would not have taped that show. If the person had not called at that moment, she would not have noticed that on the screen. In other words, this is the universe just showing her, see how it unfolds, see how it unfolds, see how it unfolds, see how it unfolds. And it doesn't matter through what crack of least resistance the house comes. It must come once you've had that emotional manifestation. The emotional manifestation is the main event. Once you accomplish the emotional manifestation, it's a done deal if you don't kill it with the next thought you have, and the next thought you have, and the next thought you have, and the next thought you have. And usually the next thought you have does kill it because you're bummed out because you couldn't make it happen right here and now. Where if the manifestation of emotion is for you the main event, then you take it as a success that it is, and then the universe gives you another success and another success and another success until you become that person you were asking us if we know any of, who just goes from good feeling moment to good feeling moment to good feeling moment, because the universe just keeps saying, you like that, you're really going to like this. You like that, you're really going to like this. You like that, you're really going to like this. Until one day you realize, I felt good for so long. I felt good for so long because the universal forces who are aware of me are giving me the inspiration to move in the direction of what I want at all times. And anytime I'm making any motion, whether it's emotional motion, whether it's mental motion, whether it's physical motion, anytime I'm making any motion in the direction of what's in my vortex, I'm flying high. I'm feeling good, you see. That's what it is all about. And it's not about the manifestation. Do not misunderstand this. This is not about Tracy moving into this house. This is about this house giving her the reason to feel good, you see.
Right. And that manifestation, because of your vortex CDs, is what's helping a lot of us get into that vibration energy. And so that breathing, you feel is very important, the breathing in and the breathing out?
Well, it certainly puts you into that general place. It causes you to focus in a way that distracts you from anything that you might be doing that's keeping you from your alignment. It's a wonderful basis, you see. But there are endless things. For the most important thing for you to realize is that you want to feel good, and that there are a lot of ways for you to go about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Further for, yes. Are you convinced that the emotion is what you're shooting for? Really? Well, it's a really good thing to understand. It's a really good thing to go for, because if you believe it and you accomplish it, which you can do fast, do you believe that? Do you believe that you're 10 minutes away from it if you focus? Do you believe that if you take that 10 minutes to conjure it and find it, that the universe will reveal to you then evidence that you've accomplished it? And do you believe that that evidence will feel good too? And then the next, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And what do you think is the strongest emotion that you will feel when you get that run going? Call it out.
Exuberance.
Joy, exuberance,
Exhilaration.
confidence, worthiness, belief, trust, knowing.